I've been sleeping with your dad for 6 months, she said it, laughing, at my parents' anniversary dinner, while holding my hand. The room went silent. Even the background jazz stopped feeling like music. It was just noise now. My fiancée, Claire, 27, looked drunk but satisfied. My mother froze mid-sentence. My father's eyes went wide, and I just stared at her, my pulse calm in a way it shouldn't have been. I smiled and said, I know. 3 hours earlier, it was supposed to be a simple family dinner, a celebration of my parents' 30th anniversary at a fancy steakhouse in downtown Seattle. My dad, Robert, 52, a man who treated every dinner like a business meeting, had picked the place. My mom, Helen, 50, looked radiant in her navy dress. She had that quiet kind of pride, the look of a woman who thought her marriage, though weathered, still meant something. And then there was Claire, my fiancée of 2 years. Smart, ambitious, sharp-tongued when drunk. Tonight, she was already on her 3rd glass of wine before the appetizers arrived. Dad kept refilling her glass. Every time she laughed, his eyes lingered a little too long. It had been happening for months, and I'd pretended not to notice. Mom talked about their upcoming trip to Italy, something she'd dreamed of since I was a kid. 30 years, can you believe it? She said, touching Dad's arm. He nodded with that politician's smile of his, but he was barely listening. Claire rolled her eyes. That's cute, she slurred. Playing the happy couple, Mom blinked. Excuse me? Claire giggled, that mean giggle, the one that made my stomach turn. You're just pretending. This whole happy family thing. She turned to my mother, a venomous grin curling. Your son's pathetic, Helen. Can't satisfy a woman. That's why I've been sleeping with Robert for 6 months, the words hung in the air like a grenade that hadn't exploded yet. Mom's face went completely white. Dad's fork clattered against his plate, and then silence, the kind that hurts. Claire leaned back in her chair, smirking. He's so much better than your son, richer, more experienced. Actually knows what he's doing, she laughed again. We laugh about how clueless you both are. I took a slow sip of water, my heart steady, the way it is when you've already prepared for impact. I set my glass down, met her eyes, and said it again. I know, her smile faltered. What? I've known for 4 months, Dad tried to speak. Son, this isn't… Sit down, Robert, Mom's voice was cold steel. Let him finish. I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out my phone, and placed it on the table. Mom, I said, remember when you asked me to help set up the new security system at home? The one with the cameras? She nodded slowly. Well, I installed a few extras, office, pool house, even your private entrance, Dad. I turned the screen toward them. The silence cracked. I have everything. Every visit. Every conversation, including the one where you two discussed hiding assets from Mom. Dad's face drained of color. Claire froze, eyes darting between us. Oh, and Claire, I added. Remember when you bragged about getting pregnant to secure the bag? That's recorded, too. Her wine glass slipped from her hand, shattered against the marble floor. You're not actually pregnant, I said calmly. I know because I found the fake pregnancy test you ordered online. The one you planned to use after the wedding. Mom stood up, perfectly composed. Ethan, did you send everything to my lawyer? 3 hours ago, I said. Mr. Garrison said it's the most comprehensive evidence package he's ever received. Dad exhaled sharply, voice shaking. Helen, we can fix this. We can… Your prenup becomes void with infidelity, Mom said flatly. Robert, I believe that's what Mr. Garrison mentioned? 30 million, I said. In assets. Plus the company shares. Dad slumped back into his chair. Claire fumbled for her phone, her voice cracking. You can't record people without consent. That's illegal. One-party consent state, I replied. And since I live there too, I'm that one party. Oh, and the office. Mom's name's still on the deed. She consented, her face twisted. You set me up. I shook my head. No, Claire. You set yourself up. I just pressed record. The restaurant manager came over, asking if everything was okay. No one answered. Mom's hand trembled slightly. Not from fear, but from rage kept tightly leashed. Then she turned to Claire, voice low and controlled. Get out of my sight. Claire stood, stumbling. The heel of her shoe cracked against the floor. She grabbed her coat, muttering something incoherent. and stormed out. The door closed behind her like a gunshot. Dad didn't move. He couldn't. Mom turned to me. Her eyes were red but clear. "Thank you," she whispered. I nodded once. "You deserve better." And that's when I realized when this wasn't a breakup story. It was a war, and I'd just fired the first shot. You'd think that would be the end, right? That after that dinner, Claire and my father would disappear into the hole they dug for themselves. But no, their entitlement had levels I didn't know existed. Claire showed up at my apartment at 2 a.m. Smeared, crying, "Ethan, please, I was drunk. I didn't mean it." "Your dad manipulated me." "Manipulated you?" I said, pulling up a video on my phone. "This you? Saying, yo, Ethan's so stupid I'll take half his startup when I divorce him while screwing his dad?" She blinked. "That was out of context." "The context," I said, "was you in my father's office." She changed tactics instantly. "Fine, but you owe me 3 years of my life. You promised me a future." I laughed once. "A future you were planning to destroy." Then came the threat. "I'll tell everyone you knew and did nothing." "That you watched." "Go ahead," I said. "Tell them you were sleeping with your fiancé's father. Let's see who they believe." She glared, trembling. "You're a monster." "Maybe," I said. "But at least I'm not a liar." She left, but not before stealing my Nintendo Switch. Petty, I know, but somehow it fit perfectly. The next day, Dad showed up at my office, red-eyed, defeated, "Son," he said, voice cracking. "You destroyed our family." I leaned back. "You destroyed it when you slept with my fiancée." She seduced me. "I'm a victim." I pointed to my laptop screen. "You literally texted her to come over while Mom was at her book club." He rubbed his temples. "You don't understand. Your mother and I, things haven't been good for years. So you sleep with my 27-year-old fiancé. She made me feel young again." I smiled. "You're going to feel really young paying alimony." He tried to grab my laptop. Security had to drag him out, 52 years old, screaming about betrayal in front of my employees. They still talk about it. But the real chaos hadn't even started yet, because Claire's mom called next. And she was about to make things so much worse. The next morning, my phone rang at 8 a.m. Unknown number. I should have ignored it. "Ethan Taylor?" The voice was sharp, nasal, self-righteous. "This is Rita Johnson, Claire's mother." "Oh, of course, how dare you humiliate my daughter like that?" She began without breathing. "You've ruined her life." "You were supposed to marry her, and now she's traumatized." "She humiliated herself," I said. "And I didn't ruin her life. She just showed everyone who she really was. You don't understand. She's been crying for days. She had to move back home. To recover from sleeping with my father?" I interrupted. "Rita, actions have consequences." There was a pause, then her voice turned sharp again. "You're heartless. I already paid for the wedding venue. Do you plan to refund that?" I didn't know emotional blackmail came with catering costs. I said. She gasped like I'd slapped her. "You will hear from our lawyer." "You'll have to get in line," I said, hanging up. By Monday, the legal letters started coming, and Claire had found a lawyer, the kind of guy who advertises on bus, stops in late-night TV. The letter accused me of illegal. Strange how quiet life becomes. When the chaos finally burns itself out, the calls stop, the threats stop, even the gossip dies, replaced by that heavy silence people use when they don't know what to say. Dad was still in a county jail when the court denied his bail request. Turns out, the offshore account wasn't his first there. Were 5 more, hidden through shell companies. The prosecutors called it a pattern of deliberate deception. I called it karma with a good memory. The trial became a circus. Every local outlet covered it like a prestige drama. Businessman faces family betrayal and financial crimes. Reporters camped outside the courthouse. Claire showed up the first day. Sunglasses, cheap blazer, trying to look like the grieving victim she once pretended to be. The second day, she didn't come back, probably because the prosecution brought out the spreadsheet. Operation Upgrade, projected, on a giant screen for the whole courtroom. You could have heard a pin drop. Mom didn't even flinch. She sat still, her hands folded, while the world finally saw what she'd been quietly surviving for years. When the verdict came, it was almost anticlimactic. Guilty 5 counts of fraud, 1 of conspiracy, 1 of tax evasion. 10 years. No parole for the first 4. Dad didn't look at me when they cuffed him, but I watched him, and for the first time I didn't feel hate, just pity, because a man who betrays his own blood always ends up alone, and he finally was. As for Claire, her downfall was slower, more public, more humiliating. After the blog scandal, no brand wanted to work with her. She tried pivoting to TikTok, healing after betrayal videos, tearful confessions, fake self-help speeches. But people remembered. The internet never forgets. Comments flooded in every time. Did you heal from sleeping with your fiancé's dad yet? Operation Upgrade working out for you. She disabled comments, then the account, then reappeared 3 weeks later on OnlyFans. It didn't last. Screenshots leaked. Her own cousin posted them in a Facebook group. The caption? She used to think she was smarter than everyone. Guess not. The boutique closed, the car got repossessed, and rumor has it, she moved back with her mom in Florida, sharing a room with her teenage sister. Every once in a while, I still get random emails from burner accounts. Why are you so cruel? People make mistakes. Claire's in therapy, she's changed. Maybe she has, but I'm not interested in sequels. A few months after the trial, Mom sold the old family house. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. We walked through it one last time. Together, the dining room. Still smelled like oak polish. The same table where Claire laughed and said she'd been sleeping with my dad. The same room where everything shattered. Mom touched the back of a chair and said, quietly, I used to love this room. I know, I said. It's just wood and dust now. She smiled. Maybe that's the point. Mom used her settlement money to start a non-profit, the Taylor Foundation, helping women recover from financial abuse. It grew fast. She became something of a local legend. As for me, I threw myself into work. My company went public 6 months later. Ironically, the same people who used to whisper about the scandal now treated me like a Phoenix story. Success didn't fix everything, but it helped me rebuild. One evening, months later, I got a letter from prison. No return address, but the handwriting was familiar. Dad inside was just 1 page. Ethan, I used to think love was a transaction. That's what destroyed me. I know I can't ask for forgiveness, but I hope you and your mother find peace in the life I couldn't give you. Did. I folded it once and put it away, didn't tear it, didn't burn it, just left it in a drawer, like a scar that finally stopped bleeding. Last week, I walked past a cafe downtown. Through the window, I saw a familiar face, Claire, no makeup, working behind the counter, hair tied back. Smile, polite but tired. She didn't see me. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, then kept walking. Some stories don't need confrontation. They just need distance, because sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying the people who hurt you. It's living a life they can't touch anymore. And for the first time in a long, long while, I finally felt free.